Hey guys, Ogre Fab Works here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a quad, and someone hit a tree with it. And as you can see, the tires and the whole front end here needs some work. So this is about straight on with the steering, and you can see how bad of an angle those tires are at. I've also got some issues with the frame. You can see it's kind of a hole there and a little bit of few pieces. That's broke. That's broke. You've got some issues back there. And this plate, as you can see, it's bent down, and then this whole section is bent to the side. So quite a bit of damage. They were thinking about just scrapping it, but I said, hey, I think I can fix it. Just kind of doing this for fun, not going to be, charging what a normal shop would probably do. I just think it's kind of cool and fun to work on these sorts of things, so stay tuned. We'll get rolling on this. Alright guys, I've been looking at this for a while, and I think I've kind of come up with a game plan with how badly everything's damaged here. So as you can see, this control arm is essentially pushed into the frame right there. And up there, that's part of the problem. And then we've got this little break back here. What I'm thinking about doing is cutting behind the issue here and trying to replace that whole section moving forward with square tubing. Probably cut off this control arm because I'll have to reposition that. Maybe put this plate here into a press and try to straighten it out as much as I can and replace sections, weld everything back up, and hopefully she's straight. I did kind of set the tone that it's like, hey, it's not going to be perfect, but it should be a heck of a lot better than where it currently sits. That'll probably be step one, is to disassemble all this, all the shocks and control arms, and get everything out of the way, then start cutting away with the plasma and go from there. Alright guys, got the first tire off. Just took the strut off the top, or the shock, whatever it is, and stabilizer arm and control arm. Tires over there, plugged off the brake line, and it's out of the way. So I'll have a lot more room to get in there and fix that. I'm thinking probably get some thicker square tubing. It's probably only 1/16. We'll do some 1/8 inch. So first tire, have it jacked up and off to the other side. So I guess as you can see how it was originally. So I'm gonna back that nut out. Take the brake line off here, nut there. Up at the top, I've got the nut to take off, and then what I found really helps too is one of the welding jack stands to hold the fender out of the way. Alright guys, got the whole front end removed, as you can see. Cut off these supports here, unbolted the front bumper, then made some cuts there. The motor mount was actually already broke. There's tubing on the other side, so that's all cut off. There's the wheels, and this is the piece right here that I cut off. So that was a break, that was the cut, as well as the other side. So this tube actually looks okay. I just sealed up some holes and whatever that arm's bent a little bit, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. This tube is trashed. As you can see, the control arm is pushed up into it, so, and this is kind of cocked, kind of bent. Thinking about putting this in a press and trying to, flatten everything back out before I gouge these welds off and replace this tube. Alright guys, I'm over at the press, pushing this down, trying to straighten it out. I think I've got it pretty well straightened. It's an air over hydraulic jack. Just hit the lever right there and she goes to town. Sorry I'm not getting a lot of footage, but I hurt my thumb the other day, so I'm struggling to get the camera set up in a timely manner, so I'm just kind of giving you guys pictures as we go. So it's pretty well straightened out. Take it back over to the shop, and what I'm going to do is cut off this arm here, replace that damaged tube with new tube. Alright guys, got the pieces all gouged out all the way up the side there, and this is essentially what's left. These pretty thin, pretty junky. You can see in the press I got it mostly straight. There's still a little bit of bend to it. This has got a very slight bend to it, but I think it's about as good as you're going to get. Got all my measurements and angles and stuff written down there, so I kind of know what it's supposed to look like and come up. But I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is just cutting the tubing and welding each bend. I think that'll be faster and easier by the time it's all said and done. Alright guys, update on the progress here on the quad. So I got the piece, the square tubing here, replacement, all welded in. You can see where I blended the seam right there. Put that in, put the control arm back on, and just fitting everything up here. So the engine mount, I had to replace the broken bolt and studs and everything in there. That is kind of holding everything in somewhat the position, the orientation that everything else was. So I do have it kind of lightly tightened on there just to kind of hold everything about where it's supposed to be. And I got a clamp on the other side there, just kind of holding where that was. The issue here with fit up is everything's a little bit tweaked as it is, and then I'm moving a lot of stuff, so it's just a bit of a challenge to get everything to fit up. I've got my piece all kind of fitted out, so you can see it's got a decent fit up there. I got a bit of a gap, which is good on all the sides. I bent this as much as I could in the press, but I see it's not going to quite, it shouldn't have that big of a gap, but again, everything's just been so bent. I haven't figured out whether I'm just going to try to compress that and weld it, or put another piece in there and weld all that up. I don't know, but overall the fit up is pretty good for what it is. Alright guys, so got the frame welded up, just been cleaning it up a little bit. Not the prettiest welds, but it's kind of hard to get down here and weld. So some of the gaps were pretty tight, so I was able to fill it. Some of the gaps, like the one on the other side, was a little bit bigger, so I put some backing strips in there inside and welded them up. And then you probably could leave it like this, and it would be fine, but I'm gonna go a little overkill, and I've got these little strips here of just some angle pieces, and I'm gonna slap those on top and weld those in wherever I can to try and reinforce it. And then I think we should be good on welding. Or actually, no, I do have to weld those on, push those apart, and weld those where they're supposed to go. Then we'll be done with the welding. Then it's just a matter of putting it all back together. Alright guys, well there she is, all welded up. Patch plates aren't the prettiest thing in the world, but we're looking for function over form here. So, like I said, it should be plenty strong with the backing plates I put in there and filling it up, but just trying to be extra safe and throw some patch plates on top. So it's all back together. All I need to do is just throw some paint on it and call it good. Hey guys, so this is the finished product here. As you can see, the tires are very well aligned with the handlebars. It turned out just about perfect. Aligning the tie rod ends is what gave me that little bit of edge to get it tweaked perfect. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.